It says an IRS withholding agent is any person. Now remember, the definition of person can be a living person, though generally that's not what it means, but it can be. It can be an association, it can be a company, it can be a business. That is what a person is in the U.S. legal system. It can be any of those things. Or it can be an entity. And what does it say here? U.S. or foreign. So an IRS agent, an IRS withholding agent can be any of those things, U.S. or foreign. So who is really the IRS withholding agent? Your company. Your company is operating as the withholding agent. Now, it says here that has control, receipt, custody, disposal, or payment of an item of income. Now, we know that income means monies generated that are taxable or subject to tax. But what does it say here? Or payment of any item of income of a foreign person. Who's the foreign person? If your job is the withholding agent, whatever company you work for, they're the withholding agent for the IRS. Most of your companies are U.S. But it says they have control, receipt, custody, disposal, or payment of an item of income of a foreign person that is subject to withholding. Subject, key word, meaning you have an obligation. So if you're in the public, you are subject. You are a subject, and you are subject to withholding. But wait a minute, who is the foreign person? I think they're trying to say, and I already know the answers, but I think they're saying that the foreign person is you as a national. And they're saying that the IRS agent, which is your company, is responsible for withholding the appropriate amount of your income of a foreign person, which I believe, educationally speaking, is the national. Because we are, in fact, foreign to the U.S. system by law. And then it says that is subject. So they're telling you right here, as a foreign person, you, the foreign national, and also other foreign people, you may be not subject to federal tax from the IRS. I mean, maybe I'm reading it wrong. So let's look at it again. An IRS withholding agent is any person or entity, U.S. or foreign, that has control, receipt, custody, payment of any of income of a foreign person. And if your company is an IRS agent for withholding purposes, and we know they are, then who the hell is this foreign person? It's got to be you as a national. And then it's saying that is subject to withholding. It says they act as the IRS's enforcement mechanism responsible for withholding, reporting, and depositing U.S. tax on payments made to foreign individuals, foreign entities, or foreign governments. This is the definition of an IRS withholding agent. So wait a minute. So you're telling me that the way I'm reading this, they're not only saying not only are you a foreign person when you're in your private capacity, that you may or may not be subject depending on what you're doing, what job you have, the position, is it taxable or non-taxable? But if you know who you are, that you're foreign, you may, so if it says that is subject, they act as this mechanism. So if they're saying that you are subject, then there's the possibility that you may not be subject. But we know you, as straight U.S. citizens, when we're in that capacity, they are definitely taxable. And that they are the mechanism that is responsible for withholding, reporting, and depositing U.S. tax on payments made to foreign individuals, foreign entities, and foreign governments. But we know, okay, because we know enough about the law, that foreign individuals, entities are not subject, generally not subject to withholding. So they're saying that if you are subject and you make an election, you're taxable. Core responsibilities, withholding tax. Generally, they must withhold 30% on payments. See, they're not going to tell you, they're going to tell you what the side of the law that benefits you. They're not going to talk about the private side. They're telling you here, if you are subject to withholding, they're telling you here that the IRS agent has control, receipt, custody, disposal, or payment of an item of a foreign person that is subject. So your company, if you're foreign and you are subject to withholding, they're going to do their job, which is where the 30% comes out of your check. Income on payments of U.S. source, fixed or determinable, annual or periodic income, which means money's subject. This is the challenge point right here. Such as interest, dividends, royalties, and compensation for services. So they're supposed to take out this. But once again, income, and it says such as interest. So this is why if you have a bank account, you've got interest. This is why they have access to it. This is a benefit. You're supposed to pay taxes on it. You're supposed to pay taxes on your dividends and your royalties because these are benefits of the U.S. taxable system. They created these things, dividends and royalties and interest and compensation for your services. But we know, keyword here, compensation for services. But services implies public, commercial. Your labor is tax exempt, which is the same things being done, but if you're a national, or in this case, referred to as a foreign person, you're tax exempt. This is for all the people in the public who are servants, trustees, police, CDL workers, bus drivers, postal, police, judges, lawyers. Anybody who services the public or licensed to do things in the public. The average American in their private company, in their private position, is regarded as a foreign person. In the IRS website, it says a U.S. national for tax purposes is regarded as a non-resident for tax purposes. A non-resident is equal to a foreign person. Reporting, they must file a 1042 annually, 1042S. Depositing withheld taxes must be deposited with the IRS. Documentation. But look here, documentation. They must obtain valid tax forms from payee. Example, a W-8-B-E-N. So if you're a foreign person, so they're telling you a W-8-B-E-N is actually supposed to be provided to you from the payees, your company. It's supposed to say, hey, are you taxable? You're tax exempt. They're supposed to do it. We've been doing it because they don't know anything about it. And it says when doing this, it says then to determine the correct withholding rate and tax, and if a tax treaty applies. Well, we know how to fill out the W-8-B-E-N. So we're going to take a look at that in a second. Who can be a withholding agent? I want you guys to pay, this is a gem drop moment here. Who can be the withholding agent? Withholding agents can be various individuals or entities. Individuals construes living, or entities including corporations, partnerships, trust associations, whether U.S. or foreign. Example, U.S. payers of foreign vendors, investors, foreign entities like banks, intermediaries, but partnerships allocating. Okay, so here's the question here. I already know the answer, so this is a gem drop. You guys need to ponder this. If it says an individual can be a withholding agent, is this something, could you be your own, or could you be your own withholding agent? Could you create an entity that then operates as your withholding agent or your legal person? Key details. Withholding agents are personally liable for required holding. Failure to withhold can result in liability for the tax. So if you're not doing something right, or your job is not doing something right, they can be directly liable. This is why a lot of them are scared to use the W-8BN or whatever else. They don't want to take on that. If you're wrong and they've basically submitted it, they're the ones who really are the primary point of interest to be in trouble. Withholding is generally required when payment is made. If multiple parties qualify as withholding agents for a single payment, only one is required to withhold the tax. An exception to reporting may exist for individuals not required to withhold and not making payments in their trade or business. So they're saying, are you doing a trade or business? I bet most of y'all don't know the real definition of trade or business. You should probably look it up. And then even if you are doing this, okay, a trade or business, then you are subject. But if you're working, this is why they say the trades of the business. So if you're working a trade or business, those are what are subject. But if you're working your normal job, inside the job, you're not doing a trade. You're not doing a business. This is for those, not you. Once again, do your own research. I'm just reading here. So it says, note, this information primarily pertains to Chapter 3 of Non-Resident Alien and Chapter 4 of Fact Withholding of the IRS publication 512. I see y'all in the comments. I'm just as always, seeking experts, do your own research. I'm just saying here.